We're going to discuss some indoor plant care basics, styling them, some fun history, some tips you may not usually come across. It'll also be a mini plant tour, but be assured it's just a few of a good many in the home. What I'm wearing in your company today is comprised of an antique necklace, also antique pearl bracelet, Goodwill top, and a Western store skirt. You get the picture. I will probably never, unless magically sponsored by a stellar brand, go down fashion labels because this is how I've always dressed. I like whatever I like from wherever and often secondhand. I like fashion inspiration, but leave the rest up to everyone else. This is not a makeup or clothing haul channel if you haven't guessed yet. I just like fashion and self-expression of all manner. Now let's get into it. Let's venture outside.
Plants live outside. So too people once did. As we came indoors, houseplants became our connection to the outside. They're used in feng shui, for air purification, interior decoration, conversation starters. They have all kinds of mental benefits, comparable to microdosing walks in the woods, increasing memory and attention, having a calming effect. They're cheerful companions, and there was even a study that found bacterium in the soil known to cause releasing of serotonin, so engaging with plants inside or out can soothe low moods in a significant way. Besides all the other clear mood improvements through UV lamps for potted friends, the stimulation of observing leaf patterns, that Sims mood bonus from just observing things as elegant and vibrant as plants can be when well cared for. The benefits go on. This isn't just dirt. You're creating an ecosystem for your plant and yourself. Using organic potting soil means there are no genetically engineered materials or pesticides. You can think of reasons you might not want to dig in things like that, or I encourage you to research further. Organic gives your plant better nutrients, better habitat, and even holds water better. And while we're on it, can we talk about the fact that people have indoor pets while not having indoor plants? A window is not enough for your domesticated cohabitants, and it wouldn't be enough for you either, but at least you control the environment. You know about animal keen senses. Help the air be a little bit cleaner for your pets because they smell your perfume and hairspray like you wouldn't believe. And I can only imagine would love to feel a branch against their tails. Yes, bunnies are going to strip the bark off and dogs will try to knock them over. Cats might dig in them. To all that, I say get plants on tables if you have a pet that has free reign on the ground, heavy pots to keep kids or dogs from knocking them over, use rocks to keep them from digging. We'll talk about rocks more in a moment. Watch your watering practices to avoid any mold or root rot. Check your soil now and then between repotting. Make sure it looks and smells good to you. If you care to, look further into watering over leaves versus watering over the soil for your specific plant. I know glazed pots can cost more, but in my experience, these clay and wooden ones were prone to snowflake patterned or dusting of growth from the water, I guess. Please comment what, if anything, you believe I could have altered to prevent that, but I got tired of chasing it, and you'll find what's inconvenient to you. I want everything to be as convenient, entertaining, and productive as possible so that it's easy to stick with. My personal preference for both convenience and style are pots conjoined with their trays. It feels more streamlined and cohesive. If you don't feel like buying one of the glazed ones, you can get one of these decorative pot covers like so. We got these cool planters, but didn't realize that they were plastic during purchase, of course, so We use them and they're lovely, but we found a more natural option is the coconut husk baskets, and you can find these pretty much everywhere. Now we've got our pots and soil. We're keeping feng shui in mind if you like, picking plants that aren't spiky like cacti because we don't want people to feel prickly or discordant, preferring plants with coin-shaped leaves for abundance, not too many plants that drape downward because we want upward growth in life. Basically, pick a plant you like, then see if it aligns with what you are trying to manifest with your vision board home environment, as I've heard it referred to as. Let's talk about styling our plants. I enjoy color coordinating plants to pots. I'm always trying to combine all my favorite things, so earn your extra healing and style points by aesthetically aligning some stones in your soil. It'll make your plant feel more at home. You don't need to buy anything or bury a diamond in there. You could even just use some stones from the backyard or a riverbed. Make it a treasure hunt to create a nice rock bed. I especially like finding glittery fool's gold looking ones. You could put fairy figures or inch big stone houses like I used to have with a bonsai tree. Get creative and give yourself reasons to want to take care of plants if it's not really your thing at the moment. This came from a collection of succulents and it has amethyst and garnet in here. Garnet is passion, romance, energy, prosperity, past life recall, confidence, and love. Amethyst blocks or dissolves negativity and is known to stimulate serenity. Sing something you can really belt out to the plants. They love it, especially if you get close and share a little more oxygen. It's also great for your liver. And singing and dancing is that thing we all naturally know to do to feel alive. Plants love it too. Make sure you ruffle their tendrils, run your hands through their leaves. They like when animals walk through them and aren't as used to being so stationary without the wind in their hair and all that.
Poison. Poison ivy. We've been binging the Batman animated and live action films for the past week, and it's been a blast. This is really making it feel like a jungle in here. The money tree that we've had for the last several years, and it's in its decorated pot and clay saucer. Like I said, I find that I have to check and make sure that there's no moisture issue with the clay saucers, and definitely prefer the combination pot. And yeah, we keep its fallen leaves in here, and it's supposed to be great for prosperity. But honestly, if it's done nothing for prosperity but just not need to be replaced because it's easy maintenance, that's good enough for me. And it's such a good friend. So I like to ruffle it a little bit, give it some fresh air, and just keep in mind that you wouldn't leave your pet untouched, unspoken to, played with, and that plants are living creatures too. You just would hopefully not forget to water Fido. So don't forget your plants. This is your reminder if it's been a minute for you. We can cultivate not only plants, but our own green thumb if you feel like you don't have one right now. This has been really fun to watch how big it's getting, and maybe one day it'll end up outside. We'll see. I do have a number of plants that have ended up outside, and I could definitely show you guys some of those. They've all taken extremely well. Thank you, Georgia weather.
This ivy has a few stones from outside in it, and it does grow upward as well as have a matching pot. We weren't entirely sure what to do with the blue tiles in this room, and so we leaned into it and we're really pleased with the whole room's makeover. This is a snake plant that creates oxygen during night and day. You can look into which plants do that versus switching over to breathing oxygen in the evening. We have some fuchsia in there. We had a different plant in here with these beautiful underwater colors of pale green and a little bit of red down the veins. And it got a bit big for its small ledge here. So this one will probably have to be swapped out at some point too, but I think it'll fit for a long time. And yeah, just keep your plants rotating throughout your house. For your cursory history lesson, crop domestication began in 10,000 BCE in the Neolithic period. 1000 BC is possibly the earliest use of houseplants used by the Chinese. As a botanical gift for a homesick wife, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, whether real or imagined, in 600 BC would have been some of the earliest recorded houseplants. Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians were all using houseplants by about 400 to 500 BC, including as a status symbol. And don't they still feel rich? Natural elements always feel elevated. Tropical plants found by Christopher Columbus in the Bahamas only stoked the upper classes' want to have the most beautiful, exotic display. Not unlike the desire to fill curio cabinets, right? Which the Victorian era had plenty of. And as the temperature and light of homes became more controllable in that period, houseplants spread to the middle class. Only after World War II were we able to really have widespread accessibility. And doesn't that make you want to seize on it all the more? Taking care of plants is often just getting to know them. Are they drooping from too little water, browning from too much sun? If advice you find online looks like it's making it worse, just reevaluate. There might be another factor you haven't considered yet, or your plant is being finicky with your exact environment, and it's going to be up to you to test it out. It's a puzzle with only so many pieces. Is your pot big enough to not create a dense, claustrophobic root ball? Is your soil healthy and up to date for adding nutrients? Does your plant require a difference in pruning, water, lighting, temperature, or do you just accidentally have it next to an air vent where it gets hit with AC or heat too much? But there are many easy to care for plants, some of which I've shown you here, and you'll barely need to lift a finger. Add some plants. They're dramatic, and if you have a lot of dark colors in your home or a more neutral palette, you will love the pop of color and artful foliage that is regal. And I'm about to give these some water besides this one. If you've stayed with me and enjoyed this, please consider yourself welcome to hang out here anytime, and certainly consider subbing, liking, and commenting if you're about this life. Now go whisper sweet nothings into branches.